Ladies and gentlemen, children and boys and girls, and everybody who may be listening today, I'm very happy to be broadcasting live to you on this beautiful Sunday morning from the city of Northville. I'm having a great day today, and I think it's going to get a little bit better because I am having a conversation today with somebody who has been making some waves on the internet, one of the hottest shows on YouTube today. I have a special guest with me, Miss Courtney Michelle, and I'm going to be bringing her up in 1 second. But what I want you to do before we get into that, I would like you to hit that subscription button, notification bell, do all that good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is CJKyles. I am the high value nurse, and you could have been anywhere in the world, and I do mean anywhere, but you are right here with me, and I greatly appreciate it. So without further ado, let me please bring up my guest, Miss Courtney Michelle.
Hi.
What's going on? I'm sorry I don't have all the fancy buttons because I would have given you a round of applause. I'm still learning how to get all that stuff incorporated with that.
No, you're fine. We don't need all that. All we need is me, you, some conversation. We're good.
Let's do it. So, Courtney, well, for the people who may not know you, can you just give us a little background about yourself?
Sure. My name is Courtney. I reside in Nashville, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Of course, you know, I am one of the people on Lapeef Let's Talk, and I think I've been doing it now for like 6 months, so it's going by fast, but thoroughly enjoy it. You know, I go by the moniker Renaissance Belle, Renaissance meaning new birth, Belle, the Southern charm. So it's kind of a little bit about me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, what made you want to step out and become a public figure on such a large platform like that? Have you always wanted to do something like that, or was it kind of something that you did just on a whim?
It was on a whim. So when I started, I was a fan of the show. It had like a few hundred subscribers, so it wasn't as big as it was now. But I called in. Mm-hmm. They were talking about some stuff that I totally disagree with. And I called in a little spicy. And then it kind of started off from there where I was a guest. And then they just said, hey, you want to be permanent?
Absolutely.
That I do.
I think that's the beauty of the platform. And shout out to Lapeef and everybody on the platform. I think it's a beautiful thing where you can get people from all different walks of life, and they can bring their own unique experiences to the platform. And I think that's where I'm going to get into my first question, because recently you guys have a new addition to the network. Mm-hmm. And it was an episode, I think it was quite controversial because we over here on my platform, we've had many discussions about it. And I wanted to talk about cultures and maybe problems within a culture, right?
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you, do you think other cultures, if you and I were Black, we're having a discussion about Black issues, do you think other cultures should be allowed to comment on what Black people should be doing and what they should not be doing to fix their problems if they've never been involved with the Black community directly?
That's a great question. And, you know, I'll take it back to me being in a relationship or someone that's married. Mm-hmm. Would you allow outside people in your marriage and tell you what you need or should not be doing? Personally, no. Now, if there's someone of another culture that has, you know, got it from the mud and moved up, or have, you know, worked with our culture and understands, you know, systemic racism, redlining, understands that and has a perspective, yeah, I'm definitely for hearing it. But I think Black people, we're a little different as far as a community. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off. I was just going to ask you, are we too inclusive as a culture?
Because I don't think we're inclusive enough.
You don't think we're inclusive enough?
I think we've assimilated completely. I don't think that we've even created a culture of our own, because we've been through so much, even being over here in the States, from you know, from the transatlantic slave trade. Right. When we got over here, our culture was slaves, and we were that for 400 years.
Absolutely.
And then it changed. Then we got free. And then we had to learn a different culture of what it was being freed. But yet we still had Jim Crow. So then that was a culture within itself, separate but equal.
Right.
And then we are in this culture now. So we haven't been able to create something of our own. And then once we started, like with Black Wall Street, it gets bombed. So it hasn't been anything that Black folks can come together and be like, this is our culture. It takes culture thousands of years to create, thousands of years of tradition. And we haven't got there yet.
I think American Blacks have a very unique plight and a very unique situation versus other Blacks, maybe from different parts of the world. More so those who reside from the continent of Africa, because it usually seems like those individuals, they do have a deep rooted culture within their society. And it seems as though with us, they call us the people with no home. So I think that kind of resonates is very true. And one thing I wanted to ask you, with the whole other people being able to comment on our culture, do you think that if there were a group of Asians or a group of Jewish people having a conversation amongst other Jewish people and Asian people, do you think they would allow somebody that is Black to come in and say what they should or should not be doing within their culture?
No, absolutely not. No. Have you ever seen that?
I've never seen it personally.
No, nor have I, nor will you.
Right. I've never seen it. And I think, see, this is where I struggle, because I'm all about taking insight from different people from different walks of life. But I cannot, if I've never dealt with a Black woman and I've never dated and been with a Black woman, I cannot give you advice on how to particularly deal with a Black woman. Right. If I've never done so myself. I think that's kind of crazy when it comes down to it. But at the same time, it is good to learn from different people and different perspectives.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. What were you about to say?
Well, I definitely wouldn't take anything from that. I think that we Black people can learn. We should be forever learning. But for me, learning and then having people and putting people involved in family business and our cultural business of where we're trying to, get better. I mean, we can only, like Jordan Peterson says, you can't, help the community unless you clean up your own room. So we have some cleaning to do personally within ourselves, within our community. Why are we so angry with each other? Why is it that Black women and Black men can't get along? We need to figure that out, and bring in a white woman, an Asian man into it to fix it. Well, they don't know how we've been historically. They don't know, what our society has created for us and what we've been through. So it's a lot of trauma that we've had and that we continuously have. And so if you don't understand that, then I don't see why I'm just going to listen to you. Like, I can't listen to a white woman tell me how to, let me teach you how to be a better Black woman.
Right.
I mean, we can talk about femininity as women, because women have a basic nature of us, men as well, too. So if a woman comes to me, let me tell you what I do to my husband as a woman. That's a whole nother conversation then. Well, the Black community is trash, and in my community, we do this. Those are two different conversations.
Yeah, I agree, because like I said, we don't deal with the same trauma as other people within this society. Black women and Black men, I can't mentally tell. A white man couldn't mentally tell me how to deal with a Black woman if they've never ever dealt with a Black woman. And even then they couldn't, because to me, in most cases, they still don't go through the same situations that we go through. Now, I do understand that you have broke white people, you have broke Black people. Right. We do sometimes suffer from the same situations. But like I said, American Blacks, we are in a unique situation without really having a culture. And now we have the mass media perpetuating this narrative of what is Black culture. It seems like they take the worst of the society and they promote it as the greatest part. And that's simply not true. That is why I think it is very important that platforms like Lapeef and you and Anton and all those people exist, Kevin Samuels, Tariq Nasheed, because to me, that is single-handedly changing the narrative of what is Black culture. Black
Yeah,
American culture.
I agree. I
So yeah.
agree. And, I think even with YouTube is important because now you have creatives trying to change the narrative where
Mhm.
our voices wasn't heard because in order to be on a public platform, you had to juck and jive and be, you know, hood, ghetto. The black man had to be a thug. The black man had to sell drugs. We had to have multiple kids, multiple baby daddies, as a black woman, and we had to be beaten up as a black woman, and we have to be so angry and have attitudes and not speak correctly. That's how we were getting our platforms. Now it's different. Now we're creating the narrative is that no, we are educated and we actually, want family and we do want love. So yeah, I think we're creating it now. It's a nuance,
Mhm.
and I know that it will take time, but you just have to keep it perpetually going.
Now, speaking of Black relationships, how do you feel about the state of the romantic relationship between the Black man and the Black woman in this day and time? Is there some sort of war going on? And if you do think so, do you think that's by design? I'm not really trying to get into your conspiracy theorist bag, but do you feel that it may be by some sort of design? If there, if it's a war going on between Black men and Black women.
Whew, okay. Well, I do think it's by design that we are not together like majority of other cultures are. Even if you look at the reason why crack cocaine was pushed into our communities, it's separation. Why, as far as a woman, it's more beneficial for you to get public aid, but the man has to be out the house. That's
Mm,
by design.
mm,
No other culture is going through that but us. If you look at our quote unquote ghettos and they're subsidized. Well, how do you get subsidized? Well, you have to have a particular income. The man can't be in the house. You have to have multiple kids. The more kids, the more money that you get. It is
mm.
by design.
I,
Um,
I agree.
yeah, you
Well,
get more money. The government, your state, your city, your county gets more money if we're apart than together. If
I
I'm
would
paying rent here and you paying rent, that's two rents instead of one. One light bill compared to two light bills. It's by
absolutely.
design.
I totally agree. I think it's very sad now because I just got into YouTube heavily, maybe
Hmm.
like a couple years ago, and I'm starting to notice some of the different conversations that take place within all the different sectors of YouTube. You have the
Yeah.
manosphere, you have the red pill community, you have divest YouTube, you have all different kind of sectors. One thing I tend to notice is that when I dive over to the female sector, some of them,
Hmm.
not all, but when I dive over to some of those sectors, more specifically the divest YouTube. Are you familiar with them by chance? The divest community.
A little bit.
Okay.
I am. I think that it's fairly new to me.
Mhm.
But with the divest, are we talking about kind of like swirlers?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And,
So that's what, yeah, they changed the name up, but
mhm.
it's the swirling community. So yeah, I'm familiar with them.
I see like a real deep seated hate um for Black men over in that community. And sometimes when I look at the red pill community, I don't
Hmm.
necessarily see it as hate for Black women, but maybe that's just what I look at. I think
Hmm.
some of these guys just don't like women, period. But when I look
Mm.
at the divest community, I see like a real deep seated hate. They talk about how Black men are dusties, how Black men ain't this, how Black men ain't that. And I just
Hmm.
wanted to ask you, where do you think some of that hate may come from? Because
Mm.
I'm sure there are Black men that talk like that talk just
Hmm.
like them, but I
Hmm.
don't see that from a lot of brothers. I mean, brothers who normally, go out of their way to date white women. I usually don't hear them talk bad about sisters, not saying that they don't, but I usually don't see it. And where do you think that really comes from?
Hmm. Well, you know, it- with the red pill community, I do believe that there is a thing called red pill rage. And
Facts.
that's usually the beginning of the stages where now you're kind of woke and you see what's going on and men see kind of women nature and learning women. and, are upset and mad.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the divesting with these women, they're upset and mad. And it doesn't have anything to do with the Black man. It's them. It's because they're not able to pick out a good man. And so they think the white man is going to be better instead of looking at themselves and taking accountability. So, I mean, they're just kind of sad and bitter women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if you would see, the divest, they say they want to go with a white man. They want a white man. But the delusion is that the white men don't want them. Most of I mean, let's just be honest. When I go to those platforms, and women are usually not attractive. Shout out O'Shea, weaving and sanding it up.
Yeah.
And no white man wants that. Like a Black man would take you at a size 10, 12. White man's gonna look at you, be like, madam.
Yeah.
Unless you get what would be a Pookie Ray Way as far as a white man? Would we call him a
yeah, a Pookie.
You might get,
maybe Kevin Federline or something like that.
Oh, there you go. You might can get a Kevin. You got Federline or whatever his name is. So you might can get one of them, but a Brad, and they don't. White men want white women, and if they do decide to date a Black woman, and if you would see them, the Black women are usually
attractive, highly attractive,
petites,
well-to-do white. It's very rare that you see a white man who is well-to-do with a sister who looks crazy out here in the streets
with that looks like an Instagram thought. You're not gonna see that.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I just personally feel like that maybe would divest YouTube. The Black men are the first ones, and they are the first ones that they usually see. Maybe that's why they're so much of the target. But when I don't know if it's like a bitter thing, because I know a lot of those sisters don't like when some of those successful brothers marry off with different races of women, but they feel it's okay for them to go off and be with different races of men. Now, personally, what you do in your bedroom and who you date is your business. I don't care neither way, but I don't know. Do you think there is? I'm sorry.
You don't think it's better? Because when I do hear the same women that get upset with a Black man dating someone white, and then the next thing they'll say, "Well, that's all right. I'm gonna give me a white man. You can, I do see that."
Yeah. No. Oh, for sure. It's bitterness. But I think what I was just trying to do was just trying to figure out the root of where it starts and where it comes from. Is it because of the lack of dating choices, maybe from where they were that they were exposed to as a child? Maybe their mother didn't teach them the proper way of how to select men. Maybe their mothers were in competition with them when they were younger. I think it's important to get to the root. What do you think about that?
That's a good question. Or maybe no one wants to date them. And again, instead of them saying there's something wrong with me, it's something wrong with you.
Wow.
Because the swirlers, we don't start out swirling like that. I don't think. The majority of people want to be with someone that looks like them. It's easier. It's more comfortable. We're more relatable. I think we find ourselves more attractive because you got my kind of nose and my kind of lips and my kind of hair. I like that. So. But if Black men aren't wanting me or just wanting to be with me sexually and not in a relationship, and my heart keeps getting hurt, and I don't want to look at myself, then it must be all Black men. All Black men must be trash. All Black men must be just wanting me for my body, and that's it. So I'm going to go to the white man because I see on TV how they treat their woman. So that means if I get with them, they're going to treat me that way. Not understanding that, madam, it's you.
One thing I talk to Anton about a lot is marriage, right? And I think a lot of brothers do want to be married, but you have a lot of brothers that don't, because a lot of us don't have examples of successfully married people to look at and be like, that's what I want to be like. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that is loving and has money and their wife is feminine and all that stuff. Like, if you look on reality TV and these TV shows, you rarely see that in Black spaces. So I tell him about that, and I think sometimes that's why it's hard for him to see why maybe black men or men in general don't want to get married or are not in such a rush to get married, because we really didn't have that example growing up. Like, oh my God, like every example that you hear of marriage now, especially in the mainstream, is, oh, she trying to take him for this, or she trying to take him for that, or women initiate 80% of divorce. Like, it's almost everything that it's like negative, negative, negative.
Yeah.
So why do you think that's such a stigma that's out there like that? Why do you think that's promoted so heavily?
Yeah. Well, negativity, pain, misery sells.
Mm.
And so if there's I hate to say agenda, but if there's something that where, they don't want us together, then of course we're going to make everything that looks together negative. We're going to make marriage look like you're going to lose your money and she's going to leave you. And so why get married?
Right. Courtney,
But,
do we trust each other? Do black men and black women trust each other from a general standpoint?
No, we don't. That's the
Hmm.
problem. As far as with women, black women, we don't trust a black man because we've been taught not to. And that's what and I've said this before. Majority of black women that are 25 to 45 has been taught, you get your own, you get your education, you get a career, you travel the world, you make sure you have your own money just in case he leaves you. And a lot of men will leave you. Like, we're taught you're going to leave us. And then it makes us so kind of, we say we're masculine, quote unquote, because we're taught to be a man. We're taught to be providers. We're taught, you make your money. So we're providers. Because we don't trust you. But we're taught not to trust you. And then we look at you on TV and it solidifies, oh, I can't trust him. Look how he's acting on TV.
Right. That's sad. That's really sad. Like, it really breaks my heart when I hear stuff like that, because you should be able to trust one another. And if you don't have proper trust, it's no way you can build.
I agree.
It's no way we can build. So, like, what do you think? How can we start the healing process and maybe beginning to trust one another as black men and black women? Because honestly, I don't know. I don't know where to start as a whole. Like, some things are case by case situations. Like, me and my girl, we talk and everything like that. We go on vacations. We just try to do the things that you are supposed to do as a couple to help elevate and grow. So, like, where does that healing start at?
Well, acknowledgement of self. So I think if we all looked at ourselves and see where we are, and are you happy for where your life is going? Because what is going right now, and the things that you continuously do, this is going to be the same outcome within the next 5 or 10 years. So are you happy where you are now?
Right.
And if it's, a relationship that you're wanting, then you have to look and see, well, why was my relationships all messed up? Well, it turned these men kept doing the same things to me. Then that's when it's like, we have to be honest with ourselves. Well, maybe it's me. And maybe I have daddy issues, or, I got hurt by a man and now I decided that man is going to be representative of every single black man. So because he did me wrong, every man's going to do me wrong. And a lot of women think that way.
I know in a lot of cases, women are forced into certain situations. Are men today, are there not enough leaders in men's spaces, like enough providers? Something for women to look up to, because if you put a woman in a space to where she has to be a provider, she's going to do what she has to do to take care of her family and her children. So do you feel like not enough men have stepped up to the plate and do what they were supposed to do as leaders?
Oh, okay. All right. I see.
I'm trying to get them.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one now.
And we talking, take your time. Take your time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because think sometimes it's twofold.
Okay.
There's a lot of men that don't know how to lead because they don't have fathers in the house to teach them.
Absolutely.
So if our men are being raised by women, they're going to have some effeminate traits. They're not going to be as assertive. They're not going to be as alpha, I guess, if you believe in that. Because they're raised by women. We can't teach you how to be a man. But now I am seeing where men are leveling up and wanting to be leaders and understanding. Yeah, I was kind of raised with a lot of women. I need to, get in spaces, get mentors, and listen to men to teach me how to be a man that my dad wasn't able to. And then while you guys are doing that, I don't think women are listening to you.
So I don't know. I don't know. Okay, well, I'll go back to this. I know you don't like the word agenda, to use the word agenda, but is there a feminization of men agenda, particularly black men? Do you feel like it is starting to become profitable for men to become effeminate now?
Yes. Come on, Lil Nas X, you think that's just a happenstance? And because here's the thing, even in entertainment, and you have that in the Billy Porters that is on Sesame Street wearing dresses and playing a fairy godmother. Do you see Asian men doing that?
No.
Do you see Mexican men putting on dresses, twirling around on TV?
No, not at all.
Do you see white men?
No.
Making music videos in the jail cell with men dancing on them and grinding and kissing.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because in Lil Nas X videos, when he had all the black men and
they were all black.
Oh, they wasn't all black?
No, they were.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, where he had all the black men bussy twerking all up in the video. The only one who had a woman on him was the white guy, Jack Harlow. The only masculine one in the video was a white guy. Now, I'm sure there are a lot of straight rappers that will be willing to do a song with Lil Nas X because of the press, whatever. But I personally feel like it was not a mistake that they put a white boy in the video and presented him as the only masculine figure in the video. I'm talking about he got girls with big butts dancing on them, they twerking and all that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, over there on Lil Nas X side, it's a bunch of bussy popping going on.
Yeah.
So it's not by design.
And they're in jail, so they locked up.
Yeah.
So they not even, they some locked up gay men, all black, dancing on each other. But you don't see that in other cultures. Like I said, our culture is different, and it has to be a reason. Things don't happen just because, and especially in media. These things are thought out for years on. They have to plant seeds in order to get an agenda or something planted and grown within 20, 30 years. And another reason why to keep the black man away from the black woman is get our minds that you guys are gay. So that's why we talk about, but it's honest. So that's when we talk about sign language. What's the first thing a woman would tell you or say about you?
You're gay.
Girl, you gay.
Gay.
First thing they're going to say is that you're gay, because it's programmed in our head to tell you that something must be wrong. The black man is gay. And I used to live in Atlanta for 5 years. Trust me, my little spidey senses was everywhere, and it couldn't be, but it was programmed. It was like, girl, don't trust nobody in Atlanta. They're all DL. And those good men that want women.
But there's one thing I was going to ask you about that. That's interesting you brought that up, because that is one of the first things that a lot of women jump to. They'll call you gay. Now, why is it that you can use that as a shaming tactic, but you accept and embrace, not all, of course not all, but you accept and embrace everything that is gay? But that is the first thing you say to us when you disagree. Or you must be gay. Or you worried about this. You must like dude. Like, why is that? If it's embraced so much?
I would go and say that it's not.
You don't think so?
So it's a lot of women that will have the gay best friend because they can't get a man, and that's the only man that wants to be around them. So they hang out with, hey Quan, okay, they don't have a man. And I would go to push to say that with these women that are in that subculture and doing all that, that turns a lot of straight men away. It's kind of like, why, you're doing a lot right now, and all this famous, that particular type of culture is like, but
that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, so I want to talk about something that's fun. Okay, so I want to give a shout out to Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels, somebody I rock with heavily.
Yes,
dude has really changed my mindset on how I think about a lot of ideas. I'm one of the riders. Anybody who got something negative about him to say, I'm riding for him. So I have to ask you this. How do you feel about the theory of the high value man, according to Kevin Samuels' definition? And is that something that all men should aspire to be, that high value man?
Well, high value was around in the 80s. So it's not that he made it up.
Right. He made it up.
He's just bringing it to light into our community because we've never heard about that. Right. We don't know what high value man, we never knew for whatever reason. So he brought into the community. Now it's like, oh my God, a high value man. Should every man aspire to be a high value man? Yes.
I agree.
What would you not want to be? Every woman should be, wanting to be a high value woman. Of course, it's completely different what a high value woman is as far as a man. But yeah, you should always strive. You should strive for perfection.
What is a high value woman? What do you interpret as a high value woman?
So a high value man is what majority of women want. So if you flip it, a high value woman is what majority of men want. And that is beauty. That is femininity. That is meekness. It is being cultured and having an amazing conversation and letting the man lead. So, it's more aesthetics than it is, of course, financially or educationally. But that's what a high value woman is. It's what men want. And what they want is beauty, is sweetness, is cooperation, it's not being argumentative, and it's letting the man be a man.
I agree.
And enjoying him being a man, and and praising him for being a man.
I definitely agree. I feel like with the whole high value man concept, I feel like that's why Kevin Samuels gets so much pushback from men and women, because those are very tangible things. Those are things you can touch, you can see. The making $100,000, the being accepted by other high value men, being generous. You can touch those things, and I think a lot of us in our community, we like to talk. You know what I'm saying? And when you can show and prove, that separates from the people that do and want to be successful versus from the people who just talk. I always give credit to Tariq Nasheed. Are you familiar with him, Tariq Nasheed?
Very much so. I watch Hidden Colors.
Okay,
don't play me now.
For sure. I just wanted to make sure. He recently raised $1 million.
I saw that. Yeah.
To build the Hidden History Museum. Very proud. I'm very proud of that. I contributed personally, and I think it goes to show that you have to have some sort of drive to get things accomplished. But he's been getting so much pushback, and it's mostly from people in our community. It's always the ones that do the most talking, but never, ever putting in any type of work that has something to say. Where does that mentality come from, you think?
Well, okay. Well, let me ask you, what has been the pushback? Because I don't think I'm familiar with the pushback he's been getting. Now, I saw about the museum.
Okay.
But tell me about the pushback.
The pushback is, we don't need no museum. We need this. We need a grocery store. We need a bank. We need this. It's always somebody on the outside talking about what we need, but you ain't contributed not a penny to getting the things together that we need. If we need a grocery store, then go build the grocery store. Get your audience together, start a crowdfunding campaign, and get your butt out there and put your boots to the ground and get it popping. Nah, it's just all this finger nonsense, this twiddling your thumbs. And that's what makes me that gets me quite hot under the collar, if you will. So why do you think it's like that with us?
Well, I mean, because it could be a lot of stuff, you know. It could be the crabs in the barrel, you know, and notice it's all crabs, so it's going to be your own people that would try to bring you down. That's just culture, you know. It's going to be your people that bring you down. It'll be your family that bring you down. It'll be some of your friends. So it could be that. I think in the light of Tariq Nasheed and him raising a lot of money, you got to still remember we're still waiting on the schools of Dr. Umar. So, you know, I can't blame people for questioning and being like, okay, because I mean, we've been told there's going to be a school built for Black boys for the past 10, 12 years.
You are correct.
So, correct on that. So, in the light of scammer, you know, and not saying I think Tariq is awesome. Like I said, I think it's awesome. I'm a huge fan of Hidden Colors. So that might be some people that might be kind of hesitant and be like, okay, well, did it take that much money? Question. So could be one of the two. I guess it could be a lot of reasons.
I just feel like that's look. So I'm a nurse, right?
Yeah.
And some people talk to me about that. Like I have a channel where I travel a lot, and it's so crazy because I like to take a trip once a month. And some people say, well, you shouldn't brag because it's not, and I don't consider it bragging. I'm just documenting my situations. Yeah. And it's my own people sometimes that tell me that, well, you know, you could be making other people feel bad and everything like that. Well, go put in the work. And that is why, and I talk to Anton about this all the time because I know Anton has a way of like either you put in the work or you trash or you're gonna lose. And I agree with that. But on the other side, I know that us as Black people have a unique situation. Now, I don't believe in handouts and I would like to help my people, but I simply cannot just get, especially grown men. Oh, I do not believe in giving grown men handouts at all. Yeah. Now that lazy men are some of the worst people on the planet.
You preach.
Of the worst people on the planet. I say you got murderers, child molesters, rapists, then lazy men. Like I think it's a crime to be a lazy man because I work with people who can't even move their limbs and they don't have a job. You know what I'm saying? So how do you feel about putting in the work, that crowd, and people who always bring up their circumstances as to be the reason why they are not successful themselves?
Yeah. Well, that goes to being accountable. It's easier for me to blame why my life is trash instead of looking at myself and being the reason why I know mine is. So, no, I have much respect for people that put in work. Me, I'm not a fan of handouts either. You know, I've had to rebuild myself back up. So with even credit, I had a horrible credit score because I messed it up. So putting in the work to get that high, to be able to, you know, purchase a home. And I mean, that's work. When you put in work, you're proud. And there's no reason why someone should be able to hide their successes because they don't know the work that you put in to have that success. And if they got a problem with you and your travel, F them.
Yeah.
Show your travel. You've worked hard for it. Being a nurse and the hours that you have to put in and the school time, you know, you deserve it. And it's okay to be proud of your success and to show it.
Yeah.
Because I know I am. I worked hard too. So, you know, you'll see me on the stage with Usher.
Oh, I saw it. I saw it. Yeah.
I was grabbing on shoes.
You was living your best life.
I was living my best life. And you're supposed to. We're not put on this earth just to work and to live in poverty. Right. There ain't nowhere in the world where my God told me, no, you just gonna be over here eating ramen noodles in the projects. No. But faith without works is dead. I believe him, but I'm gonna have to work for it. And
Absolutely.
then and
Even
then you
God
enjoy
don't
the
respect
fruit.
lazy men. God don't
No,
respect lazy men. He think
no,
you
he don't.
a bum. Um,
Yeah,
let me ask you something, Courtney, because
mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you brought up the term poverty. A couple of weeks ago, I asked on my Facebook page, I said, ladies, if you had a man that, if you had two men, they treated you well on every level,
Mm-hmm.
every single level that you could ask for, mentally, emotionally, sexually, they were both good to you. The only difference is one was poor and the other
Mm-hmm.
one was rich. Do you know half them ladies said they will pick the poor man?
That's a lie.
Cap. Whole cap.
It's a lie. It's an absolute lie.
So,
Because if they did, these men wouldn't be friend zoned.
and I said, why do we welcome pop? Why would you? Some of their excuses were, well, I don't want to compete with other women because I know he's rich and I know he's good looking and everything like that. That was some of their excuses. And I said, so you welcome poverty. No woman wants to be in poverty. And I think it's a shame that so many women are afraid to admit that they want to be taken care of. Why do you think
Yeah.
that is? Is it a gold digger stigma?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It is. So if a woman was to be honest, especially about hypergamy,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what it is, yeah, we're looked at as gold diggers. We're looked at as she's for the streets because all she want is your money. Like even with the last show on Thursday. And I said, being with someone 14 years, not being married would be a waste for me.
Mm-hmm.
And marriage is a business. And a woman wants to be provided for, period.
Mm-hmm.
And we do. And it's not a gold digging thing. It's just a woman's nature of hypergamy, just like it's a man's nature of wanting someone that's feminine. It's not that men are controlling and want to put the sword down and want you barefoot and pregnant, but it's a man nature to want what a woman's supposed to bring, and that sweetness and help for you in whatever capacity that you need us. But as a man, we need you to provide. Like God put Adam on here first. He had a job.
Mm-hmm.
He was working.
Absolutely. Yeah, and men are hypergamous too. I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
don't get that twisted. Like, we are very hypergamous. And I tell ladies, me personally, I have no problem with gold diggers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have, because at the same time, just like you want a man for his resources and you are just upfront with it, a man wants you for your youth, your beauty, your womb. So to me, it's an even trade. And I always try to tell women, like, if you're going to spend a man's money, if you want him for his money, the easiest way to do it, I feel like, is to make him feel good about spending it on you.
Mm.
I don't think that's very hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard. I mean, like, if I know, like, for instance, my girl, right? If my girl wants a Louis Vuitton purse, and I know Louis Vuitton purses are expensive, that come with a foot rub, telling me how great I am, making me a bomb meal. Now, I'm not saying she a gold digger, but what I am saying is that it's a way to go about getting things from dudes. Because contrary to popular belief, we are not difficult to deal with. We are really not.
Right.
And I think, men with money are probably some of the easiest men to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because they have to go out in the world and they have to fight every day for every single resource that they get. All a dude want is peace when he get to the house, and peace and a feel good. And if you can make a dude feel good about cutting a check or whatever you want, then I think you'll have greater success.
Yeah.
A lot of women just walk in the game and be like, well, give me this, give me this, give me this. No, it's about giving and taking.
I agree with you. And I truly believe that men want to provide for their woman. Like men want to take care of their woman. Like it's in your nature. You want to, you're hunters and, you provide and you want to make sure everything's there. Men are fixers and they want to fix, so that's what you want to do. But you want to do that to the right woman that appreciates you for being able to go out there and work hours on end, dangerous jobs to be able to provide. You want to feel respected. You want to feel appreciated.
Absolutely.
And if we give you that, then you would give us and shower us with the world. Like, I completely understand that.
Absolutely.
It's just you guys are not just feeling appreciated for the work that you're putting in. But we're wanting the benefits of you being a provider, but not giving you what you need to provide for us for. And that's, again, appreciation and respect.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If so many women want this high value man, and we've heard it time and time again, some of the most outrageous calls on Kevin Samuels' channel.
Yes.
Why do you think some women have the idea? Because I'm trying to get into the mindset of a woman. I'm not a woman, so I don't know. Why do you feel like a woman with 4 different children by 4 different men who is overweight, who don't have any money, can really call and have the audacity to tell a man, like when I think about it, it's borderline offensive when I really do think about it, because you have the audacity to tell a man that you still want a man who's in the top 10, top 20% of all men. Why do you think women have enough gall to say something like that?
Okay, so women, a lot of us get confused where we might have a lot of men that want to be with us, but not be with us, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so
they'll sleep with you. Yeah.
Yeah. And so in my head, and there's a lot of women that think this, is, oh my God, he giving me attention. Oh, he want me. Girl, I got all these dudes that want me. I can get whatever I want because I have all these men in my inbox. I have all these men, trying to come over to my house. And so it creates a narrative that I'm wanted by many. And so I can get any kind of man that I want because I have men wanting me for sex. Not knowing that the men just want you for sex and they're going to leave you, or they're not going to take you serious. We don't put that puzzle piece together. We think because you want me, then you want to be with me. You want to be in a relationship with me. And with men, it's not like that. And there was something that I wanted to mention, I think a while ago, because I don't know if this was a Southern thing or not, but I used to see memes and men would say it. They would say, well, if she don't have a child by 30, her vagina is whack. Like that was, have you ever heard that before?
Oh yeah, plenty of times.
Yes. And so again, we're like, well, sure, I had 2, 3, 4 men that wanted to scoot in me, and because my is good. So I know I got good. So I'm supposed to get a man, so we don't correlate because we don't operate that way. If we're wanting to give you ourselves and our bodies because we're looking for something more. We think men are like that. Right. We put on what we believe, we put it on you, which I think is a mistake because men and women are completely different. But yeah, I just believe that. But there was a whole thing. If she ain't got no child by 30, it means she got some horrible vagina. And so women was like, well, shoot, I got a child. That must mean I'm good. Nah.
Yeah, that's a little crazy because me personally, I don't want kids. I don't want kids, me personally. And my lady don't want kids. That don't mean her box is trash. My lady does she does her thing. That's why she getting all these free trips and doesn't work out. So I mean, she does her thing. But like, we don't want children. That is the decision that we made. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think that's crazy. But speaking of children, I have to get your thoughts on this, right? Because recently, Dr. Boyce Watkins made a post and made some statements, and he called black men predators who choose not to date women with children, right? So let me ask you. I don't know if you have children or not, but
I have a child.
Okay, so let me ask you. You have a son or daughter?
A daughter.
Okay, let's say you had a son, right? Let's switch realities. As Kevin would say, Thanos snap. You got a son.
Right.
Your son works 25, 30 years to become one of the highest paid doctors in the country. Well worth over $500,000 a year. He comes to you and says, Mom, I'm in love. I'm in love. I met this beautiful, beautiful woman. Great. Have a great conversation. She smells good. Her edges are laid correctly. She got the right edges. She wears shellac. She rocked the shellac nails and she looks good, Mom. She's everything I wanted. But I gotta be honest with you. She has 4 kids by 4 different men.
Yes, Lord.
Mom, how would you feel about me dating this woman and potentially marrying this woman?
No. Are you lost your mind? Have you lost your ever loving mind? I gotta get good and slubbing. No.
Right.
It's a responsibility. And speaking as a mother that has one child, I know my limitations. So 4 is ridiculous, especially by 4 different men. That's some therapy that needs to happen. But as a mother that's dating, and as a man that's dating without any kids, I mean, you gotta know your limitations. So a man, it's no reason why you should be and you're successful with a woman with 4 kids, 4 baby daddy. That's baggage. That's a lot of mouths to feed. That's a lot of sleepless nights and picking up for what? Create your own family.
And so would you advise a man with no children to date a single mother?
Well, I mean, I can't. I advise him to do what's best for him.
Okay.
But it's your preference.
Absolutely.
So, it's you, and you're okay to not want that. No man should be shamed because of their preference. And I would say that all around. So if you're a single man with no kids and you don't want to date a baby mama, no one should shame you for it. That's your right. And I understand it. If you have a preference in your color, if you want a light-skinned woman or you want a dark-skinned woman, that's your preference. We forget that, you might be attracted to something it shouldn't be shamed on because that's you.
Absolutely.
But I would say with me, I particularly, as far as even like dating now, I date men with kids or that's been divorced because I know that's around my realm and we're more relatable. They understand being a parent as a single dad. So we have a lot to talk about, especially if they kids is my same age as my daughter. We'd be like, good, play date. And it's easier to date because we can bring our kids. So that's what I prefer. But
are rankings a real thing? Do you believe in rankings and being ranked?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what men do. That's what we watch beauty pageants. It's a ranking. I get ranked in my job as far as my performance. There's always going to be a number 1. There's always going to be a number 10. So yeah, I completely believe in rankings.
Yeah, me and my girl were watching Naked and Afraid earlier today, and there was a man on there who was 4'11". And I turned to her and I say, hey, if I was 4'11", would you have gave it a shot? She said, absolutely not.
No.
And I said, hold on. So you would have missed out on all this goodness just because I was 4'11". She said,
chocolate goodness.
She said, yep, I sure would have. And she was just like, that's just how it is. So if people don't believe that they are ranked, they are absolutely insane because you are ranked in everything you do. And being good is not good enough. But can I get to some of these comments? I just want to shout out some people. Shout out to E Black. She said, oh, snap, Courtney is in the building.
That's my cousin.
Shout out to August Heat. August Heat always stay representing. Said Courtney holding court.
Hey.
Shout out to my sis, Danny D. She just graduated with her RN, doing her thing. Love her.
Congratulations.
So yeah, let me see. Shout out to Brandon Matthews. Shout out to Snuggles 668. Snuggles be asking a paragraph worth of questions, and I just can't get to them. We're gonna have to have you come on the show one of these days. But Snuggles is a rider. I appreciate you, Snuggles. Let me see. Shout out to my lovely lady DD Unlimited. That's my chick. I appreciate her. Shout out to Manosphere Mana saying shout out to the High Value Nurse and Courtney and the chat. We appreciate you, family. Shout out to my guy King Gene in the building. I appreciate you, sir. That's my dude. Let's see. Shout out to CKQ Podcast. Y'all go check him out. That's my guy.
Yeah, that's my guy. What up, CKQ?
Yeah, CKQ is dope. He's dope. E Black says you hilarious. He said you hilarious. But yeah, so and shout out to Knowledge and Relationships, man. That's my brothers. They're my brothers and my sisters over there.
Oh,
Courtney,
hey guys.
For the last part of this conversation, I have to get your thoughts because I don't know if I know y'all talked about it, but I didn't get the whole the whole gist of your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about the concept of pretty privilege, because a while ago, and I know this is a little bit old, but a while ago,
Mm-hmm.
that sister made that video about pretty privilege, and she
Mm-hmm.
talked about how she doesn't get the men that she feels she deserves. Oh, well, and I'm paraphrasing, but
Mm-hmm.
how I broke it down is that she doesn't get the men that she feels she deserves because of the way she looks. How do you feel about that? And is pretty privilege a real thing to you?
It is. It is. I mean, I can't, and I know some people, shout out Anson, it doesn't believe in privilege at all, but it is pretty privileged, especially for women. When women are beautiful, doors are opened easily.
Mm-hmm.
Jobs, men, high value men. We're talking about high value men, high value men. Who do they want? They want an 8, 9, 10. That's pretty privilege, which means I can have it easier for me to get a man that's in the top 10 percentile because of how I look. Now, usually that brings you in the door, and that's not necessarily talking about, your attitude or anything like that, but your beauty gets you a lot of places that if you wasn't as beautiful, then it's not going to get you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's true.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, I was I was watching Abba Preach earlier, and they had a thing about pretty privilege, and it was like, show if you have pretty privilege by something that was showing, and these women, because of how they look, was able to stay on the house in the hills, trips to Dubai. Now, not saying they got to do some stuff for this, but their beauty opens the door for them to be able to do certain stuff. Look at IG models.
100%.
I mean, they're thoughts, but they're getting paid because of what they look like. They don't have any talent. They can't tap dance or do a flip or dunk.
Right.
They're not doing no Candace Parker. Hey,
right.
No, they just got ass shots and a pretty face and get money.
Let's say somebody came to you as a woman who was not so visually sweet on the eyes. A mud duck, if you will. And she came up to you and she said, "You know what, Courtney, I'm not that attractive. I'm guys don't really buy me drinks like that, and they don't hold the door open for me. They actually let them slam in my face and everything like that. And when I cry, nobody comes to see me. Nobody comes and checks on me, and I'm not that attractive. I get it. I understand that. What should I do? What should I do? How can I get a man who isn't? They want a high value man, Courtney. They all want a high value man, because that sister in that video said that the guys that she attracts are pizza delivery drivers and some other type of guys, and she ain't feeling that. She wants a high value man. Let's just get it out the way. She come to you and say, "You know what, sis? Since I ain't the prettiest, I ain't that pretty, but I'm loyal. How can I step my game up?"
Well, first I would tell her, you might not think you're as attractive as some other people, and I'm not here to say yay or nay. But what I will say this is that if you don't think that you're as attractive, as far as your face, then you need to make sure your hair is done. You need to make sure that you're dressed appropriately and dressed cute. Like, there's ways that you can tweak it. You need to make sure your attitude is good. The worst thing that I can't stand is someone that's not attractive with a bad attitude. Now you got two different struggles.
Preach. Shout out to Tarana Burke. Lord.
So you should be the sweetest, the nicest, the funny. Like, you got to bring a little bit more personality to make up for your face. Get your hair done. Get your nails done. Do your makeup. Dress appropriately. Make sure you smell good. Have a personality. And a lot of times when I see, because sometimes you do see someone that's very attractive with someone that you be like, well, what they doing with them? You see that all the time. And it's because they're able to bring something else. Because just because you're beautiful don't mean you can keep a man either. These beautiful women are insecure.
That's a whole fact.
Bad stank attitudes. Probably got stank vagina. Like, they got a whole lot of other issues too. So therefore, you be the complete opposite. It might not be in the face, but you can keep your body right. You know, keep your skin clear, get your, you know, so yeah, there's other things that you can do to be attractive, and you might not get that 10% man, but you can get someone within the 30%. That's just as good.
So she got to be realistic.
You gotta be realistic. Yeah, but you know, if you struggling with your face, and then you struggling with your weight, then you struggling wearing bonnets.
Oh God, the bonnets. We were on a cruise last month. Yeah, we were on a cruise last month. And this lady wore a bonnet to the C-Day brunch, and it was a big old bonnet.
Look like one of the little popcorn things. You know, you remember how you put the popcorn on the stove?
She looked like a ghetto chef, and I was just like, that's inappropriate. My girl, and I don't know why my girl pointed this out to me, but she was like, babe, look, because she knew my blood pressure was gonna go up when I saw that. Now I said, listen, sisters, I'm not the type to really criticize about the bonnets. I don't care about that in the airport and all that. Because I realize when you're trying to get somewhere, you want to be comfortable. And sometimes them plane seats can be uncomfortable. Do what you do.
Right.
Why you want to do it at the brunch though?
You know, I'm still trying to figure that out. And even at the airport, like you're out in public.
Yeah.
And ain't no telling. And this another reason with my Black women that's looking for a man, you don't know where you're going to find this man, or you don't know where this man might come and be the love of your life. You're out there looking at a bonnet at the Kroger's. You might, I mean, he could be at Kroger's. Right. He could be at the airport. He could have been at that brunch, but you over there looking like who shot John and why.
Jesus.
Get yourself together. When you step out the house, you are representing yourself as a woman. So take pride in yourself.
That's a fact. I agree.
I don't know why, you know, we want a man, but then go out looking like a man. Like, fix yourself up.
Yeah, man. I see it. Shout out to Chicago Rilla in the building. I appreciate you coming through. Chicago Rilla said, Cole, man, you looking for? She want a high value man. Let's keep it real. She want a high value man. She don't want the average man. Let's keep it a buck.
Well, I didn't say that.
Okay. All right. Do the average brothers have a shot, Courtney?
I like regular men.
Okay.
I like hardworking men. I like men that got a little dirt under their nails that's coming home hot. I gotta get in the shower real quick, baby, before I be hugging on you because it smells like, okay, babe, I got you. Let me get dinner on for you. Like, I like a hardworking man. I'm not into no. First, I don't like the pretty boys, but you know, I do like hardworking men.
Yeah, well, fellas, to all you cats that may be thirsty, Courtney just giving you the blueprint of what it may take to slide into them DMs. You did. So if you a hardworking man, you got a little paper, you know, put some dirt under your nails and everything like that, you may just have a shot with Miss Courtney Michelle.
Shout out to the mechanics out there.
Shout out to the mechanics, truck drivers. I used to be a truck driver, but I had to get out that lane real quick.
And truck drivers do well. I used to work for a trucking company years ago, Western Express, a long time ago. And they do very well.
Yeah, I used to do it. It just wasn't for me. Being gone that long and all that kind of stuff, I wasn't about that life. I wasn't about that life. I'm going to ask this one question because Snuggles is so loyal.
I'm sorry, come on.
Snuggles says, ask Courtney, what does a regular man's salary supposed to look like?
Well, if you're going average salary for a man is what, like 42?
Right. So is that the starting line? If the fellas want to know if they making enough money to take Courtney Michelle on a date, what's the starting line? Is there a starting line for you? Do you care about that? Fellas, I'm getting y'all the exclusive.
Okay. Well, is that the starting line? I mean, I've never really asked, and that's not really the first question that I ask in dating is, you know, how much you making? But, you know, of course, if they bring up what I do, then I will ask what they do. But a lot of times, just because you say you do something doesn't mean that matches your salary. I mean, salary does matter for me at my age, especially, you know, I do have a child and I do well. But definitely like 6-figure man, that's not necessary. But, you know, if you're making about 50, 60, 70, then yeah. And I think that's about like maybe 15%, 30%. So if I'm being honest, yeah.
You see what Chicago Rilla just said?
Rilla is getting on my nerves. Okay?
You said us Courtney want more kids.
That's up to my husband.
Okay. All right.
So if he doesn't want any kids, he won't have any. And if he wants me to pop out 1 or 2, I sure will. But he gonna have to come on. He gonna have to go ahead and
Hurry up, huh? Gotta make that happen.
And I love being a mother. My essence is I'm a nurturer. God made me to be a mom. He made me to be a wife. So I love being a parent. And even if he had kids, what's up? Call me stepmama. I'm here.
I hear that. Lady B said the saw and hammer man will always be the first choice of men.
Yeah.
Well, let me give a shout out to the saw and hammer men because I ain't one of them. I ain't fixing. I'm gonna give a shout out. Look, I'm not fixing nothing. I'm not. No, I pay somebody to do that. So I shout out to the saw and hammer men. I just make sure I got the paper to get it done.
There you go.
Yeah,
I ain't that either.
I ain't. I ain't about that.
I do like seeing someone outside fixing on my car. I'm be like, you better change my tire.
I'll be like, listen, baby, I can change the tire. I ain't finna put in no alternator or no engine. I'll be like, well, listen, I'm about to call Al up the street, and I'm gonna be watching Al take care of this. I'm gonna send a car to him.
There you go.
Yep. Chicago Rilla said, what's next with the Courtney Michelle show? Will she be launching a network like Kathy Hughes or Oprah? Rilla trolling you.
Rilla is so trolling right now.
He is trolling you. Let me see.
Well, I got some ideas for my show. I've been kind of out the loop because I've been sick. I had COVID, and so I was kind of out the loop for like 2.5 weeks.
How you feeling? You feeling better?
I feel amazing. And let me tell you, we take our health for granted.
Sure
Not
do.
being able to hardly breathe for 2.5 weeks and coughing and phlegm. Oh my God. So now that I can breathe and do stuff without getting long-winded and tired, man, I feel great. So yeah, we're bringing that show back, and Oprah, I don't know.
Sky's the limit, Court. Sky's the limit. You never know what's gonna pop off. Shoot, I'm trying to get my Emmy. I'm looking to get my daytime Emmy. Don't get it twisted.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking
to be trying to do an Oscar.
Yeah, something like that.
I might be a little Angela Bassett.
I ain't trying to be at the bedside too much longer. You did. This was nursing is a stepping stone. I make no bones about it. I'm gonna use it to get my paper and to launch it to what I really want to do. But yes. Rilla said, how important is it for your man to share the same faith as you, Court?
You know what? It's changed. So I used to be if you're not a Christian, there's no way that I can be with you. Faith and spirituality is important, but I don't think I wouldn't let that stop me from dating someone. So it might be a hurdle that we will have to go over, but I wouldn't. And that's changed for me. And again, it's me being realistic, me understanding I'm a mom, I'm past 35. So me understanding that is like, well, you're going to have to come down a little bit. So where you wanted someone that was 6'3", well, he's 5'9". Where you wanted Pastor Jenkins to be your husband. Well, Rashid over here, he loved God. He might not have been to church in a while. That may be something that we can work on if he wants to. But yeah, some of this stuff got to come down a little bit.
Absolutely. Let me see. I'm gonna ask you this one last question from Snuggles. Snuggles, man, you be writing essays, player. Lord, but I love you though. I love you for loving me. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you right here with me, and I appreciate it. Courtney Michelle, do black men have the ability to make a mistake and you all give them a chance to redeem themselves? Or does that only exist for women in the community?
Do black men have the ability? Yes. So it's Snuggles thinking that we don't give them a second chance?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, everybody makes mistakes. No one is perfect. So talking to me personally, absolutely. Now, here's the question. Can black women make mistakes? Because from what I'm seeing, we cannot.
Ooh.
We can't make a mistake. And once you see a flaw in us, then that's it. And I know from personal experience is that I've seen a lot of black men throw black women away that has made a mistake. So that's what we need to talk about if you want to have that conversation, Snuggles.
We may have to get you back for a part 2. I'm gonna write that down. Can
I'll be
black
back
women
to
make mistakes? Because that's real. Manosphere man that says 5'9" is that bad? Hey, listen, I'm 5'9" myself. I'm like, was
No,
that
I was just saying no.
no, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
5'9" is not bad.
No, it's not.
I'm like 5'7", 5'8", so I'm
Right,
pretty tall.
right,
But
right.
yeah, but no, I just said 5'9".
Would you be willing to date a man shorter than you?
I have.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a little different because I like to wear a stiletto heel when I go out on my date night. So then I'm usually about 6 foot.
Okay.
But
Okay.
like I said, hey,
Well,
if you
player, you're gonna have to
5'7",
get some platforms to all my short players that's trying to holler
or
at Courtney.
if you don't mind climbing this tree.
I hear you now. All right. Well, Courtney, I appreciate you being here today and giving me some of your time. We definitely gonna have to do this again if you wanting to come back on the show. We're gonna have to get that
Absolutely.
popping about do black men are willing to give black women a second chance? That's a good question. Rilla says, one thing I can say about Court is that we are seeing her growth in real time, and that is dope AF.
Thank
Shout
you,
out to Chicago
Rilla.
Rilla, man. He came on the show a couple weeks ago and he absolutely just did his thing. He did his thing. But before I let you go, Courtney, I got this part of the show that I do for all my one-on-one guests, and it's called the assessment, right?
Okay.
So assessment is pretty much where I ask 5 rapid questions and you say the first thing that pops into your head.
Okay.
All right. First question. Does sugar go in grits?
Yes.
Tupac or Biggie?
Biggie.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Prince or Michael Jackson?
MJ, it's his birthday. He would have been 63. Come on, Moonwalker.
Shout out to MJ. Cat Williams or Kevin Hart?
Cat Williams.
Well, there you have it. Courtney has been officially assessed. And according to my assessment, she knows what she's talking about.
Hey.
She knows what she's talking about. But before I let you go, one last thing, Courtney, I got to give you my joke of the day.
I hope it's funny because I'm going to boo you.
Oh, yeah. This is what I do. I'm a certified comedian. Certified.
Okay. All right.
Are you ready? Matter of fact, I'm going to silence the music so they can hear me real good out there.
Okay.
All right. Look, my girl laughing in the background already. All right. What did one wall say to the other?
I don't know.
I'll meet you at the corner. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been today's episode. And I I appreciate. What happened?
It was that bad. I fell out.
Lord have mercy. I appreciate y'all. Listen, I'm gonna be here all week. Y'all can catch me doing stand up. Where them real jokes fly. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all being here. Look, they throwing tomatoes.
Yeah, you deserve that.
they throwing tomatoes. Y'all ain't ish. Trying not to cuss. We trying to get monetized over here. Y'all ain't ish. Look, knowledge and relationships laughing. Look, CKQ look, I'm funny. All right, I'm funny.
I don't know if they're laughing with you or at you.
All right. He talking about don't quit my day job. Look, Rilla throwing tomatoes. Everybody throwing tomatoes. E-Black throwing tomatoes. Y'all ain't nothing. That's all right. But that's all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been today's episode. Your man has to get to work later on tonight and get this paper popping. I appreciate everybody for being here, and I definitely appreciate my guest, Miss Courtney Michelle, for joining me on today's episode. Like I said, Corey, anytime you want to come back and have another discussion, we can. You've been wonderful to talk to.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you. I appreciate you taking the time and even inviting me on.
For sure. For sure.
That meant a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I don't appreciate these tomatoes, y'all. It was
well deserved.
He's talking about you got to respect the bravery. Good show. I appreciate y'all. So y'all hit that like button, hit that notification bell, subscribe to the High Value Nurse. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you adieu. Peace.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.